Sports betting. Is it a game of skill? A way to cash in on everything you know about sports? Or is it something else entirely? That's the big question, and we're going to dig into the data to find the truth.
I mean, you see the ads everywhere, right? You can't escape them. They're all over your TV, plastered on social media, and they're all selling the exact same dream, that your knowledge, your passion for the game gives you a real edge, that you can turn what you know into cold, hard cash.
And this quote, it's pulled straight from a huge new study on this stuff, and it just nails the marketing pitch. Do your homework. Leverage your knowledge. The message is simple. You put in the research, you can beat the house.
But that's the real question, isn't it? The billion-dollar question. If you actually do the homework, can you really, truly come out on top in the long run?
Well, a massive new study decided to put that promise to the test. And they didn't mess around. We're talking an analysis of over 38,000 real NBA player prop bets, all to see if skill actually turns into profit.
All right, so first, let's break down what's actually being sold here, this whole idea of this skill promise.
So the study zeroes in on one of the most popular types of bets out there right now, the player prop bet. You know, like betting on whether LeBron James will score over or under 25.5 points. It feels like the ultimate test of your knowledge, right? You're not just picking a team, you're predicting exactly how a single player is going to perform.
And that's the whole foundation of the industry. The idea that all those hours you spend watching games, obsessing over stats, that it can be turned into actual money. It feels so intuitive. But let's see what happens when you really put that idea under the microscope.
Okay, so how in the world do you actually test for skill in betting? Well, the researchers came up with a pretty brilliant experiment to do just that.
They basically created 3 different kinds of bettors. First up, you've got the coin flipper. This is pure chance, zero knowledge, just randomly guessing over or under. Then you have the data nerd. This persona uses a really sophisticated computer model on every single one of those 38,000 bets. And finally, there's the pro. The pro uses that same powerful model, but is super disciplined and only bets when the model screams that it has a huge edge.
And we need to be really clear about this model. This wasn't some basic spreadsheet someone cooked up. No, this was an elite, professional-grade system that's publicly available. It crunches all the numbers for you, opponent's strength, home court advantage, rest days, the whole shebang. This is basically the absolute best-case scenario for a skilled bettor.
So, you've got the random guesser going up against 2 super-informed, data-driven bettors. Who do you think came out on top? Well, the results, they're pretty eye-opening.
Okay, let's look at the numbers. It's fascinating. The coin flipper, as you'd expect, won exactly 50% of the time, and that resulted in about a 5.5% loss. Now look at the pro. The skill definitely made a difference, winning almost 54% of the time. That's a way better win rate. But then, take a look at that last column, the actual return on investment.
That's the kicker. They all lost money. Even the smartest, most disciplined bettors in this entire experiment still ended up in the red. Skill got them more wins, yeah, but it wasn't enough to actually be profitable.
This number right here, negative 4.41%, it tells the whole story. This is the absolute best-case scenario, using a top-tier model, only making the smartest bets, and you are still losing more than 4 cents for every single dollar you bet. Guaranteed.
So, what is going on here? How can you be better than a coin flip at predicting the future and still lose money? The answer is baked right into the system itself.
It all comes down to something called the house edge, or the VIG, as you might have heard it called. Just think of it like a built-in tax or a commission on every single bet you place. The study found that, on average, this tax was over 6%. So your skill doesn't just have to beat a 50-50 guess, it has to be good enough to clear that 6% hurdle every single time.
And here's the fundamental problem. The sports books, they have all the same data you do, and probably a whole lot more. They set the betting lines so perfectly that any edge you think you've found by doing your homework, it's already priced in. The system isn't set up to reward your skill, it's set up to tax it.
And this, right here, is maybe the most shocking comparison in the entire study. The absolute best you can do with prop betting is get back about 95.5 cents for every dollar you bet. You know what the payout is for a spin on an American roulette wheel? About 94.5 cents. They are, for all intents and purposes, the same thing financially. But here's the crazy part. Casinos have to disclose those odds. They're heavily regulated. Sportsbooks, by calling it a game of skill, often aren't held to the same standard.
So now that we get the basic math, let's talk about the specific types of bets that the sportsbooks are pushing on you the hardest.
I guarantee you have seen ads for these. The Same Game Parlay, or SGP. They sell it as this super exciting way to combine all your best predictions into one bet for a massive payoff. But what you're really doing is multiplying the house edge against yourself over and over again.
And just look at how fast that gets out of hand. With a single bet, you're already fighting that 6% house edge. But if you combine just 2 bets into a parlay, it doubles to around 12%. 4 bets? Now you're at 22%. A 6-leg parlay? The house edge is over 30%. I mean, you're basically giving away a third of your money before the game even starts.
Okay, I can hear you now. What about all those guys online selling expert picks for a subscription? Surely they have some secret sauce, right?
Well, the study points out the really simple but flawed math behind this. We already know that even the very best models lose money in the long run. So let's say your expected loss on a $100 bet is about $5. Now, what happens if you pay a tout service $30 for that expert pick? You haven't magically made the bet better. All you've done is add another $30 of guaranteed loss on top. So that $5 expected loss just became a $35 one.
So after all that, where do we land? How should we really think about this?
All right, so let's boil it all down. Here's what you really need to take away from this. 1, yes, skill can help you win more often, but it's not enough to actually make a profit because of the house edge. 2, the absolute best you can hope for is a return that's almost identical to playing roulette. 3, those parlays they market so heavily, they are designed to dramatically increase the house's advantage, not yours. And 4, at the end of the day, the data is clear. This is not a system designed for you, the bettor, to win in the long run.
And that leaves us with the big final question that the study itself raises. If sports betting pays out just like a casino game, shouldn't it be regulated like one? With the same rules about consumer protection and disclosing the odds, it's definitely something to think about the next time you see one of those ads telling you to just do your homework.